potential last game of the night is going to be, or if LFM can bring it back and take us to a full 10-game day. How crazy would that be? It's
That's initiation right there.
Yeah, yes it is.
Our earlier series ended on Dragonshire, but that was because it was the last map of the series. We got some cool transitions going on here. But this time, Dragonshire in Game 4. That was SpaceStation that picked it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, trying to think of what they've shown so far that really just makes me say, all right, they're about to dominate. Because outside of the slip up on
It's been a long night, guys.
Sky Temple, they've been fairly dominant in these games.
Yeah.
So, I think they are on pace to close it out here. But LFM has not just wilted. Like, we see some teams, they succumb to the pressure and they just kind of like fall apart. I don't think they've done that yet. I really don't. I think that's a good sign for their future. What it means for their long-term success, I don't know. But short-term, I think it's a good thing that they haven't just completely folded.
Yeah, and I remember watching a podcast that had Draded on it, and he talked about how LFM as a team doesn't tilt. They're not a tilting team. And that kind of mindset is what you need to have when you are coming into HGC and the method that you are. You're probably going to lose most of your Part 1 matches. That's fine. Use it as a learning experience. Expect that to happen. If you do get wins, hey, that's even better, right? That's icing on the cake, if you will. But otherwise, just treat it as a learning experience. Figure out how to start winning games here and there, because sometimes Crucible matches, who ends up in the Crucible can come down to mere games. That's what happened, I'm pretty sure, in North America last year. If not, it looked like it could be that way until a series win happened right at the end. So as long as you're able to start transitioning these learning experiences into wins at time, that's kind of where we didn't see Even and Death thrive last phase.
Yeah, they've shown pretty decent team fighting. And they've been just a few spells here and there, maybe a few abilities that have just come up short. I mean, we saw Shrite pop off on Battlefield of Eternity. Had he died there, that fight looks entirely different.
Yes.
He was like this close to dying. So, yeah, they're close. It is SpaceStation Gaming. We don't really know where they kind of lie on the power rankings just yet, but they've shown some good signs themselves. But it is, for now, against LFM, there'll be probably a few tougher teams they'll have to play.
Yeah, that play when Shrite was so low and he's running back and he's got his teammates trying to close in, doing what they can to soak shots, and then you see just Tychus die, you're like, oh no. Dominance is about to be really good for Jay Shrite. Ends at like half health. The Li-Ming factor. Here we go, Game 4, LFM Esports, newcomers to HGC versus SpaceStation Gaming on Dragonshire. Let's go. Let's go.
I'm just kind of digging the music while we're waiting for players.
I'm dancing. I was going to say Shrita's Hanzo potentially, but no.
What is this soundtrack?
I don't know.
Nobody here needs healing, so do we just see another ETC Lucio to start this draft?
This has been first pick Greymane every single game of this series.
Hanzo is that scary, and apparently LFM is that high on Greymane.
LFM and SpaceStation, they've both been first picking him. It's first pick every game. That's one of my favorite things about starting a new phase or a new part, is every team has their own metas, and then they face off against each other, and you see what becomes of that, what truly is the best. ETC Lucio getting that again for a second time. It's pretty good, though, for SpaceStation.
Wait a minute. Sophist is on vacation?
I guess so. He deserves a vacation. Jayha just wants everyone to work all the time.
It's
Jayha,
Friday!
you work.
Unless he just means this week.
I think he means this weekend.
What if he really means today, like, dipped out early?
Then he would deserve it. Double reset.
Wait, do you think there's ever a day we get to dip out early?
No. Yeah, if there's 2 3-0s, that's when we dip out early.
I mean, the good thing is, I know.
We don't want that. We want games.
Look, here's here's the thing is, like, I know Twitch chat can cast this game via chat. I've seen it before.
Chat casts heroes. Here we go. Incoming.
This looks pretty similar, Yili.
Yes.
Draft-wise so far. Dahaka will be on that top lane. Li Ming and Gray Main. There's T. His name is T. I'm just gonna call him Specialty. I can't not call him Specialty. I casted him for way too long. He's Specialty forever.
You even have me saying it, and I didn't cast him.
Yeah, well, he's special.
Is Li Ming a T special?
He's known to go off on some heroes
Okay.
for sure. Yeah, he's definitely known to get on heroes and pop off. So Stukov, though, created all kinds of problems for Equinox last game. He's like, guys, yeah, let's keep Stukov away this time.
Yeah, the story of fights really was, does ETC dive once he stage dives in, or die once he stage dives in, right? Because he's going to land on a silence. Cursed Bullet's there too. You've got Li Ming skill shots. If he survives, then they turn around and they win the fight. Otherwise, he's just blown up and they have to hope that they can win without him while those cooldowns are down. Malthael seems a good ban for LFM, given that they have to hawk of the top lane.
Yeah, but it seems like they're more than okay with playing on the Leoric style. Like the March of the Black King in the earlier games, mad value, like crazy good value. They're switching over to mages. Now this is, wow. We have seen so much Jaina today that we have now seen a Jaina ban. When was the last time we had a Jaina ban? I'm talking about in any heroes. Any Heroes of the Storm competitive play. When was the last time we saw a Jaina ban?
Probably around the time when you had the Jaina, Kerrigan, oh, or Zeratul Jaina.
Right, so like 2 or 3 years.
It's been a while. It's been a hot minute. Arthas Falstad.
I like the Falstad pickup.
Falstad is a Jason comfort, even before he switched over to this. Well, that won't be Jason, though.
You know, Shrite played a lot of Falstad several clashes ago, and I remember some might say, oh, you know, it looked a little bit rough. And I think the reason why is that he's openly trying to make plays for his team. And there was times that we talked to him, you know, behind the scenes and stuff. And he's trying to make plays on Falstad, and his team maybe not as experienced, so he kind of sits out by himself and might die. But I think now that he's here in a more structured competitive environment, if that is his Falstad, we might see the playmaking Shrite that I remember from several. I mean, I think this was before HGC started. Even, you know, all, like I said, he's been in all the LATAM stuff. So,
Karazim Johanna. It's the final 2 picks for LFM. Johanna gives a lot of wave clear in the rotations. Karazim plus Li Ming Greymane. That's a lot of potential burst off of a Blessed Shield, off of a drag for LFM. And can be annoying for a Falstad for sure.
The thing that scares me the most, I think that Li Ming, obviously being one of your few interrupts for that mosh pit, is good. Johanna gives you that secondary because you can hit that condemn. The condemn will still go off. Plus you have your Iron Skin to deal with the ETC on the front line. I feel like that's more of a safety pick as opposed to a playmaking pick. You can get the condemn, maybe land an Arcane Orb, but that requires constant communication and synergy. Whereas if you're playing something like an ETC, an Arthas, a Stitch's Hook, you have a little bit shorter cooldowns, things like that, that allow you to make those plays more conveniently, I would say. So, Tychus, one more time. So much Tychus and Jaina today.
Even picked into Johanna with blinds.
Yeah, I mean, compositionally, generally, so they already have Arthas. So what we'll likely see is going to be the Falstad kind of play that flex in the middle, potentially rotate top or bottom, use that global, and then try and get the picks. And so I think that's going to be a big point for them to try and capitalize on. But if you're Falstad, are you going into Season Marksman build knowing that you're going against the Johanna? You can get value out of it. I think it seems like the safe route to go. And going Hammering build, there's not enough frontline targets where you're going to get enough value on it. Bribe we saw earlier from Udall, but that was a different map, different setup. So the Falstad build likely to be, but with the blinds there, double auto attack potentially.
Yeah, that almost makes me think, especially not only blinds, but Earth Ally from Karazim. Really think that it would be more likely to see Gathering Storm.
But your targets are, if you're manning the middle lane and you're not necessarily in the skirmish zone,
Oh yeah.
and then you're going to get a pick on Dahaka, who conveniently just ducks underground and dodges it, and then your only real frontline target is Johanna, it's incredibly difficult to stack that to a meaningful number.
Yeah. I hear you. Let's see what he does. Let's go into the game and see if SpaceStation will close out the series with just a little blip in game 1, or if LFM will tie it back up. Oh, he's still going to Season Marksman.
All right. It makes sense.
It does.
He'll find his way around the battleground in terms of maximum potential. Season Marksman is definitely there.
Yeah.
So, I just, again, Earth Ally plus Blind. The team fights might be a little bit of a slow start, but if they can hit the big combos, we'll see.
How do you think SpaceStation's looking to set up their team fights?
Yeah, it could potentially fall back into the same zone. I mean, if they can get the combo of just a slide and a root coming in from Arthas backing up, that'd be good. You know, post level 10, I wouldn't be surprised if we see another stage dive, kind of get the setup. Equinox did a very good job. If you're running stage dive, sometimes it's good to land basically a center target, but sometimes it's basically best to land on the backside. It's a big enough AoE to where if your center point is actually behind the target that you're prioritizing and gives you the slide, the slide zone that you're trying to get into, you stage dive just behind and slide back. I mean, obviously everybody knows that, but Equinox executed it very well and I think really set up some good moments for his team. So I think that'll be another big thing. And then, of course, they'll have Ballstat and ETC, the double global, potentially post-level 10, to make plays elsewhere and get the different picks that they want. So top lane priority, if they open up the top lane early enough, which they're already prioritizing this camp, it forces Dahaka to have much further retreat lanes, things like that.
I really like what LFM is doing, though, in the mid-bot. They are being essentially bullies to SpaceStation. The first time they rotated down, they rotated and cleared out the wave really fast. They hung out in the mid. There was no way SpaceStation could safe rotate through the mid. They had to send Lucio all the way around, which put them further behind. And now in sending so much to the top for SpaceStation, they lose out on the Giants, which LFM are going to steal the Giants away, then getting their own, and just continuing to put up the pressure in this mid-bot. So they know that SpaceStation is focusing on that top lane now, and they're just trying to make sure that they at least keep up the pressure someone else, so they're keeping up.
If you're SpaceStation, I think this is exactly what you want. You can get that, you can hide directly under here, push this in, you take away that well, you take away the fort, all of a sudden picks on Dahaka look a lot more appealing because he has no retreat point. His retreat point is a long walk home with no bushes anywhere for him to get brush stalker value. So the more they take down here, I think the better. Yes, you're getting a counter push from LFM on the bot lane, but I think this is more significant for the long-term Gilly.
Yeah, you see teams like MVP Black prioritizing taking down that well and the gate up in the top so that they can do just that versus Dahaka solo laners. And there's very little that LFM can do versus that. So the best thing for them at least is to clear out this bottom early on. That makes sure that they can maintain a similar amount of time on a shrine of their own by holding on to the bottom. And in having more mercenary camps in the bottom lane, they can try to keep SpaceStation down in the bottom and then just alleviate pressure for Dahaka in the top lane at some point.
I think LFM got as much as they could in return, but again, I think as the game goes on, I think SpaceStation made a big power play there, and that could easily punish the Dahaka. And if we see ETC go stage dive, that's a tremendous, tremendous advantage for SpaceStation.
Yeah, LFM has been pushed very far back in that top lane early on into the game. Equinox makes a rotation in, finds himself adraded, and Casanova is there for follow-up damage. But Karazim put enough counter pressure on so that Casanova has to back off. Nobody's in position to take back one of these shrines, but they are at least in position to stall out picking up the Dragon Knight until Dahaka can eventually make his way back up to the top lane. But that's what happens when you get pushed that far back. It takes forever for him to push that lane back up so he can feel safe in taking that shrine.
It's going to be Gang City, though. Dahaka's just going to... He has to be on his toes. winning the lane, he's going to need a lot of help from his team. That's the only way I think he'll be able to survive, is to have the ultimate teamwork. A lot of times you can leave Dahaka alone for a bit, occasionally give him help if needed, but you fall into the territory of like, hey, I need a bit more help than we're used to. Are we prepared for it?
SpaceStation was building Gank City, but LFM did just that and went up with the assist with a couple of their the rest of their team. Now having the Bruisers in top, maybe they can get some top damage done structurally in a way to even that out a little bit better in favor of LFM.
It would be a really big play. We see Kerosene and Equinox in separate bushes. Tomster eating quite a bit of damage there. Power slide over the root, but no follow-up in place as Tykas is bot lane, and Casanova trying to clean this up.
Works out pretty well. Johanna's going to get into position in the bottom lane. LFM are a level ahead thanks to taking out the 4, pushing those lanes too. That level lead is something that I wasn't quite expecting. Great Iron Skin to not get caught by the root. Rangi comes in too. A lot of LFM showing up. There's no fort to retreat to.
Gank City got a new zip code. It's called LFM. That's right, that's a number.
Good one. Well, that top at least gets pushed back, and just the normal seesaw effect of Dragonshire.
Seesaw's about to break because level 10's here, Gilly.
And it's way faster for LFM. Those SpaceStation are catching up.
It's like if we were on the seesaw, it'd like go really heavily one way, but if I got off, like...
Oh, I thought you were going to say because I ate so much cake.
Yes, that is actually what I meant.
Fly-up.
But how hard would you fall? Like, I'd almost feel bad if I jumped off.
It'd be fine. What's he going to pick? Is it a palm game? It is a palm game. Oh. New support. I'm ready to see these palms in action.
The Cursed Bullet had really good value against ETC last game. We're seeing it again this game. They were able to get quite a bit of blow up. If we can get that lockdown, as you mentioned, getting that Blessed Shield potentially onto that ETC, followed up by the Cursed Bullet and then a Li Ming combo, who also, by the way, went power hungry. You get that bonus damage when you have orbs, and with the new orb changes, or excuse me, with the new globe changes, we've seen a lot more players go into this build now.
Yeah, it's far more likely that you would be able to get that, and having the increased mana return as well as the 10% spell power makes a lot of sense why that would gain just as much power as a lot of the other globe talents. But Heroics have been grabbed by SpaceStation without losing the Dragon Knight, so well done by them. Another stage dive for Equinox. See if he can make the plays. He is in the top. This would be a prime target if he sees the right person. Grenade comes in, pulls Johanna forward. Stage dive.
The Blessed Shield already went out. Now we're going to see SpaceStation try and turn this again. The drag going to be on to Jason there on Arthas. Not enough follow-up. There was one moment at the beginning of that when Johanna originally hit that. T is doing a really good job following up a lot of what his tank is doing. It's just it's going to be a tough one to crack here against SpaceStation. They've got some good survivability on that front line.
Yeah, especially with Gust. Gust still hasn't been used. Sound Barrier hasn't been used. There's the survivability of the front line, but then there's also just those two big heroic abilities to slow the momentum anytime LFM tries to get a fight. And you're limited. You're pretty limited with the Johanna front line. You're waiting for a Blessed Shield. There's no Conviction picked up either, so you don't get the movement speed from that. So you have to hope that you're going to get a drag as well. Iron Skin again comes in. There is the Gust. No pickup for LFM, but they do force the Gust.
I think SpaceStation was testing the waters while simultaneously getting a little bit of extra time. The remnants of that camp was in the top, pushing that top lane. Got a little bit of value there. You can see one tower went down, half of another. So it did get a little bit of a push. So it was a cautious approach, but a calculated approach. So good on their part. We see LFM, though, however, now getting the Knight camp bottom, getting that bottom lane control and holding on to it.
That camp will push out enough that they should be able to feel comfortable to do something with it, either rotate out, steal the Giants, then push along with that too, or go up, try to get some damage done to another fort. Maybe even look to get the top shrine, although Equinox is pushing that lane in quite heavily. So for now, they want the defense of these camps to get a lot more done. If they can't get the Dragon Knight because that top lane has been so heavily pushed, then they'll siege the old-fashioned way. Get a couple mercenary camps, force Jay Shritted to use an Odin, and take out a couple keep towers.
Equinox gonna miss their cursed bullet right as he lands to greet him. We see Li Ming following up as well. So Equinox losing a large chunk of health. He'll be healed up there by Tomster, looking for the fight. Gilly, we're 9 minutes in, still looking for that first kill.
LFM's handling of Equinox and stage dives has been on point 2 games in a row. It is excellent to see how well they have been able to make sure that not only is nobody in range now to be able to be hit by it and have that slow and allow Lucio and the rest of SpaceStation to get into better position, but just frankly to do enough damage that he's not power sliding forward, he's to run back because he's so low. They just haven't been able to get a Dragon Knight, but they are eking out these structural damages every once in a while, especially in that bottom lane.
Figgy being the stalwart there. And it's one thing that Johanna does well is she can step into danger with that iron skin, not really have a whole lot to worry about. So continuing to just be there. And you got to give credit to Equinox in that top lane. He's used that global. They haven't necessarily had to prioritize Falstad as much. He's used his global. And again, we see Pinball Wizard again. And it's a different contribution. There's Cursed Bullet going out. But it's kept that lane in check, which is what you normally see Dahaka winning. Now we're going to see the response here as LFM picking up a night camp of their own, looking to take a fort.
They're at that fort. SSG, SpaceStation, kind of slow in getting the camp to be able to defend versus that. And in fact, LFM, knowing where the retreat path would be, expecting them to be here, will step onto the point. Gus tries to push a lot of the members away, but LFM still get on the point, and Figgy staying there, takes it, uses Iron Skin to dodge the slow of the stage dive, and Sound Barrier. SpaceStation used Sound Barrier. LFM had SpaceStation's number there.
I think that when he used stage dive, it allowed the capture of the camp.
Yes.
We got double night camp across the top bridge. As now we see the back end. Nice dodge there by T, using that teleport over, Draded, trying to get that disengage, but he is so slow. He gets the cursed bullet in response. Now he's going in. Equinox lives, but Gilly, we've got ourselves a DK finally.
That was just awesome by LFM. They push along, they know where the retreat path is going to be, they steal the camp, that camp pushes up. They send Karazim back to assist Karazim in the Dragon Knight, so LFM need to keep that in mind. Their support is in there. But even still, they don't lose anybody. They drop SpaceStation and they take the Dragon Knight. LFM doing well in this Game 4 versus SpaceStation. They have a 2-level lead over the veterans. SpaceStation have been in HGC for all of 2017. This looks great for LFM.
Yeah, you know, we question the macro plays, but we're looking at a game with 0-0 kills and get a 2-level lead. We got to fly over. We're looking for a gust here. Jason going in, trying to get the root. Stage dive's going to be there as well. Jason, however, is going to get blowed up. There's the power slide over onto 2 members of LFM. Draded trying to get out of there. He's getting the heals. Gilly, LFM is taking this fight.
Yeah, Draded had some incredible jukes there. The flight was in, but everyone was so far away that it took a little bit longer before they could gust. And when the gust dropped, it put everyone right on top of Jason, and LFM using that synergy, that time together that they have spent to make the call just to take out Jason. Otherwise, Jason was going to sit on them for forever. He's Arthas. He's got the slows. Take him down, and then they can start the retreat. Color me impressed by LFM. Finally, some kills come out. It was SpaceStation who initiated the flight, but LFM who won it.
What color is that like? It's like a red, a blue,
impressed?
green.
Probably like a nice orange.
Well, today I learned.
Just warm and happy.
Sometimes it could be like warning sign though.
Orange alert here. Gilly is happy because LFM came to play.
Oh, they're coming to play.
Camps. Yeah, they're ready
Gilly,
to try to siege this down.
They've got 16 tier, so therefore they have double extra, or the extra magic missiles there as Li Ming has picked that up. They've got sieging potential. They've got knights. They've got siege giants. This could be our first keep, and I think this is all but given, but here we go again.
The Flighty Gust. We're going in a second time. Draded receives the cleansing dash off of that. T gets blown up very quickly, but Drayden seeing if he can change it out. Still sitting on Equinox, throwing out the damage, and they do. Rongi self-palms, doesn't proc.
Oh my!
Nicely done. Jay Shritta still in the end. Takes down Karzim, waiting out the palm. But this is not over yet. This is quite the bloodbath.
Should get the movement speed value. Figgy's got the iron skin, but this is a lot. That is 4 members down of LFM. Look, if at first you don't succeed, try fly again.
It worked. It worked that time. It took longer, much longer to kill the first target. That was Equinox for LFM. Drayden was sticking to him like Elmer's glue. But killing Li Ming at the start of that, not being able to take advantage of the reset that gained from that, the dominance, the health. This time SpaceStation will be able to not only win a fight, but get the Dragon Knight from it. What do you like?
Not stick to him like glue, but it's got to be Elmer's.
You know, this is pretty sticky glue, right?
I mean, you could just say sticking to him like glue, but you had to like
I
bust.
thought the phrase was Elmer's glue, to be honest. I really thought that was the actual phrase.
I don't think that it is.
Oh.
But it is now. We've got the Dragon Knight picked up here, pushing the bot lane as we have a moment for SpaceStation to shine. Reaping their rewards. That's going to be a fort down, neutralizing that. The bigger part of that team fight, Gilly, was that they held on to their keep. We've got another gust. In comes the stage dive. Cleansing touch over, but that is not before Li Ming gets deleted. Bless Shield's going to miss. Drayden going to go down. Karzim does get the palm, however. He's still alive. Dashes out. Swab's trying to get out of there, but the damage is coming in from SpaceStation.
It's like the minute SpaceStation decided that they were going to go for fly gust into anything, that's just, as soon as the cooldown's up, we're going again. But it's working for them now. The first time they did lose someone, but ever since then they've been willing to make it work. Now they have the Dragon Knight, they have Sound Barrier, and they're moving on to the core of LFM, trying to close out this series. Let's see if they do it.
Both damage dealers are down. We're talking 50%. Am falling. SpaceStation looking to wrap up this series as the core down to 25, and that's going to do it as SpaceStation Gaming is going to take this series 3-1, put themselves in the win column.
SpaceStation wins the series, but we have to hand it to LFM to come in for their first series of professional play for HGC out of the open division. There were a lot of questions, there were a lot of doubts, and they've proven that they can hang. They won the first game off of team fights. They looked phenomenal in that Dragonshire game. The rotations were on point. They tried to do whatever they could to prioritize that bottom lane too. I think LFM, we're going to be seeing, and we can expect great things from them for the rest of this phase.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to get worse when you're brand new. So the trend should be up for them. I think that there's definitely some things that they can learn from. We look at the Volskaya game in particular. There's some key moments that I think that when they start to get those together, they're team fighting, more hit than miss a lot of times. Obviously, there's going to be things that they'll review, but I actually think that they at least showed promise today. Might not be top 4 NA just yet, but we'll see. I mean, their future is well within their hands. Yeah.
And for SpaceStation, we look at them and we know that maybe at the beginning of phase 2, when they first picked up Equinox, they maybe even outperformed what we expected from them expectation-wise. But to look at this roster and know that they not only picked up 2 new members, they got a new support and they got Jay Shritta. They're working on some communication stuff with that too. And they made a lot of role changes. So they're not a new team. Obviously, these members, most of them have been playing for a long time within HGC this whole year. But even still, there's some adjustments to be made. But you could see the promise from that as well.
Yeah, SpaceStation, they seem to rely on pretty big plays. I think when they start to normalize things a little bit, they'll even get better. If they rely a lot on those big plays, I mean, we saw some of them miss. And when they go against stiffer competition, sometimes those can be punished a little bit more. But SpaceStation obviously came out 3-1. We did what they expected them to do. And so they get themselves in the win column. That's a big deal to start HGC 2018.
And for North America, a lot of questions about what heroes we saw today and how much they extend meta-wise past a team preference, what they have been able to glean and garner as wins within their scrims. Things like Jaina, I don't know about yet. Kerrigan, we didn't see it in the last series, though Equinox is the tank player, and we know that she's his bae.
Yeah, Jaina warranted a ban by the end of the day.
Yep.
I think 3 games in our first series. They came in the second series. Jaina comes out firing, even as a very different build from Shrite. And then all of a sudden, we're here in game number 4. Second ban phase comes around. They're like, guys, we don't want to deal with Jaina. I've been casting a while, and it's just something you don't see, but we are in a different meta all of a sudden.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see if we see her Dreadlord wings appear yet again tomorrow in HGC North America. You mentioned Jay Shrita. Let's talk about him too. This is his first match within the league structure, HGC. How'd he do?
I think he stood out. He was very... when I thought about the fall stat, he ended up playing a different hero. I'm thinking he loves to make plays. It's just he never really had the follow-up he was looking for. He always felt that he was better and that he could do more. And I think he's discovering that as he goes along. We'll look at that play on Battlefield of Eternity where he's hiding behind the wall and he lands that sick combo onto Arthas, uses the Calamity, blinks over the wall, doesn't quite get the reset, but his team rallies around him, and then he gets the reset, the dominance at 4, which you already talked about, and he just started blowing people up. That's a confidence builder in the sense that, guys, I can do this. If we work together, I can do this, and I think that was a big step for him.
Now, when we look at the teams that we've seen play today in North America, it's important to remember that we've only seen 4 play so far, and we would put them generally as more middle-of-the-pack teams. Not sure for sure on that at all. They could surprise us, any of these teams, right? But in general, looking at them seems more like middle of the pack. We haven't seen Team 12 yet, the team that represented North America at the Gold Club World Championship, got all of that experience from that. We also haven't seen Tempo Storm, and I'm pumped about that. But let's check in with Jay Shrita now from SpaceStation Gaming. Hey, Jay, congratulations. How does your first win in HGC feel?
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Holy moly.
Awesome.
The first game, I was so, oh my God. We dominated the first game and we throw, but it's happened. I'm so happy.
I'm so happy to hear that you are excited. Tell me about you guys' prep. Had you guys played versus LFM before? What were you expecting for the series?
We never screaming versus LFM, then we don't know what we can expect it. But we watched the last games in the Crucible and versus Heroes Health. Then we are a little scary versus some cheese like Shogal. We know they like Shogal. But we are really prepared. We work so much in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I'm so happy and so glad my team, and we are prepared. We know you work and we practice every day and for this.
Well, you seem very motivated to do well in HGC, so I wish you all the luck. I'll send you over to Jayha.
Shrite, welcome to North America region, man.
Thank you, bro. Welcome to HGC.
Listen, I remember seeing you on Fallstat. I remember Sky Temple, and we've talked to you behind the scenes leading up to several of the clashes. And it seemed like there were a lot of times you're trying to make plays with people a little bit less experienced. What's it like being in a structured environment, a team environment, to be able to make some of the plays that stood out for you today?
I'm like Flex. Sometimes I try to make play, but I feel it's because I'm desperate to make something for my team when I play. But like Flex, I think I don't want to make the plays. I want to be the best and the most consistent player for my team. And because I think this is your work with Flex. I don't want to make the plays, then it's fine for me. We know when EA have so much good players, then if you try to make some plays and don't work, you'll be so much punished. And I not want my team be punished.
Well, you had a sick Li Ming combo at the bottom right portion of BOE, and you blinked in and didn't get the reset right away. That seems like you want to make some plays. What's that like playing with a team where you know they've got your back?
Yeah, but in this play, I know my team wiring my backside, and I said, I will blink, cover me, don't let me die. I only need one reset, and if I give one reset to win the team fight, and oh, Mr. God, save me, Casanova, give me my reset, and thank you, team. Thank you very much.
I'm happy for you, man. Congratulations on getting a victory right out of the gate.
Jay, talk to me about your match versus Simplicity tomorrow. What are you thinking about it?
We watched their games versus Guild Force,
Hmm.
and they play really well. But I'm so confident in my team. It's like I say, we work out. We know we are one of the teams that's more working in the AGC. Then we are prepared. Doesn't matter the team. Doesn't matter if be team freedom. Doesn't matter the team. We will be your best and try to win.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that match. Congratulations again. Any shout outs before you leave?
Yeah, shout out for all my Brazilian fans. Shout out for all my team, Casanova, Equinox, Jason, and Tom Mr. God. And shout out for my roommate. Today it's her birthday, and I promise this. And shout out to SpaceStation, the best organization in the world. Shout out for HyperX, all sponsors, main friend, and thank you very much. I love you, everyone. And woohoo!
Congrats again.
Ooh,
Thanks, Jay.
thank you.
Can every interview ever be with Jay? That was the best interview ever.
He's just, I mean, not only is he excited, but he's flexing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Guns.
I feel so motivated just having listened to him talk about.
I feel like I need to hit the gym like, after looking
Yeah,
at
that too. Tomorrow, we heard it already from Jay. The members of SpaceStation will be taking on Simplicity. That's the first match of North America. The second match is also gearing up to be a great one. Tempo Storm versus Heroes Hearth. The first time seeing those two teams. But Europe, Team Liquid versus Zealots. That'll be exciting. And then Method, formerly Expert, in case you don't recognize that name, taking on Diamond Skin. Good stuff all around.
I'm excited for tomorrow, and selfishly, I'm just going to say that last matchup of the day,
Ooh, yeah.
Tempo Storm, Heroes Hearth. Tempo Storm, they're either going to make a statement, or Heroes Hearth is going to come out and they're going to make a statement themselves. Like,
Or
that
both.
is a killer series for tomorrow night.
Yeah, that is so exciting, that series right there. I feel like you and I looked at that as potentially the best series of the weekend. However, having seen the match, the two matches that we had today, I think Simplicity and SpaceStation is going to be a good one too.
There's a lot to look forward to. I think Simplicity today, despite the loss, came out. They showed that they've got a lot of talent on that team. We already knew that, but they were just short of putting it together today. Gale Force, by response to that, shows that, hey, we're pretty good ourselves. I think we had a really good series. A lot of good promise between our first few games today.
Yeah, today was so much fun. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We'll be back tomorrow with more of the Heroes Global Championship. Good night.